Hello and welcome to SPS Spotlight. I'm your host, Azell Cavaan, and today I am very excited to introduce to our entire community the new Superintendent of Springfield Public Schools, Dr. Sonia E. Dinnall. Dr. Dinnall, welcome.
Thank you. It is an honor
Congratulations.
to be here. Thank you so much.
I'm excited to introduce you to the community, let folks know who you are as a person, and talk about your vision for Springfield Public Schools. So, let's get started with your background, because
Okay.
I've heard you mention that you are a first-generation U.S. citizen. So I think that so many of our families might be able to relate to that, and even some of our students. So can you tell us a little bit about your family background and how that has influenced your decision to come into education?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It is an honor to be here. So, I was born and raised in Springfield, Massachusetts. However, my parents came here from Jamaica in the 60s. I think the late 50s, early 60s, my parents arrived here from Jamaica, the beautiful sunny island of
Yes.
Jamaica.
Here in Springfield. They
Here
came
in
to
Springfield. They
Springfield.
came
Okay.
straight to Springfield. As a matter of fact, when my mom arrived, she landed in New York and it was in the winter. So, of course, being from Jamaica, she had
Oh my
no
goodness.
concept of winter and she was
Yes.
ready to get back on the plane and go
Shock.
home. So, my dad had to reassure her that the leaves will return to the trees. There will be green grass one day.
The
So,
snow will melt.
the snow will melt, absolutely, and it will get warm again. So, coming from Jamaica, my parents were both born, believe it or not, in 1925. And
Oh, okay.
fortunately, my mom is still here with us. So she's 99 plus.
What a
And my
blessing.
dad, yes, a huge blessing. My dad left us a few years ago.
Okay.
But coming here from Jamaica and being born in 1925, it's a totally different experience. So those experiences that were my parents' experiences somewhat became my experiences. So we grew up in a very bicultural environment.
Yeah.
So having my parents with our traditional food and our language and our clothing and just our way of being,
Yes.
and then having to acclimate myself to the American culture. So being bicultural made it sometimes challenging to navigate places like school. So we learn very quickly how to code shift and how
Yes.
to adjust in order to feel like we fit in and belong in this environment that was so foreign to our parents. And with that, my mom and dad instilled in us the urgency of education. So in 1925 in Jamaica, opportunities were few and far between, but my parents always knew that their children would be educated. So we had no option. There was no other choice.
There was no choice. That was the
No
norm
choice.
in your
That was the norm in
household.
our household. We
High
had to get
expectations.
high expectations for higher education. Absolutely. So the thought never crossed any of our minds to do anything but complete high school and go on to college. And that's what we had to do.
Were there any careers that were touted, or how did that come about? How did you land in education?
Well, it's so interesting you should say that because my dad was an entrepreneur. He most
Okay.
definitely was a craftsman and he did beautiful carpentry and renovating homes and he was flipping homes before it became
Before
a
it was a
thing.
thing.
Before it was a thing. So that was
Okay.
my dad's trade. And my mom always had a dream of being a nurse. And I don't know where she got that from. But my older siblings followed in her footsteps. And I initially started down the path of medicine, but became a substitute teacher, became a Sunday school teacher at an early age. I was about 13 when I
Okay.
started being a Sunday school teacher at church and then volunteering at camps for younger kids. And I just fell in love with children and fell in love with youth. And so when I was at Westfield State getting my undergrad degree, someone suggested that I become a substitute teacher. So I started subbing here in Springfield Public Schools and that was it. I got bitten by the teaching bug.
Okay.
And so, as a double major, biology and psychology, I went ahead and became a science teacher. So,
Okay.
there was no turning back after I became a teacher.
So let's talk about the degrees that you do hold, because you said education was so important to your family. You mentioned psychology and biology.
Yes.
Okay, what other degrees do you hold?
So I have two masters. I have my first master's was in education, and then the second one in psychology. So I pursued both of my undergrad degrees
Okay.
in higher ed, and then I went on to earn a PhD in educational leadership from Lesley University.
You are stacked.
Yeah.
That's a lot of degrees behind your name.
Yeah, and I don't plan on stopping. I do plan on pursuing additional degrees because I am truly a lifelong learner. I get that just such a cerebral rush when I am learning something new. So I'm
That's
always
awesome.
on YouTube University, as we
Yes.
call it, learning something new and doing something fun and engaging and interesting. So I love to learn. I love to learn.
Awesome. So not only are you a product of Springfield Public Schools from kindergarten through grade 12, but you started your career as a substitute teacher at Springfield Public Schools
I did.
and have ascended to superintendent.
Yeah, surreal, isn't it? It is truly surreal.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Full circle.
For sure.
So what are some of the memories that you hold as a youth in the district, as a student? What are some of your dearest memories?
Wow. So I remember being at Memorial as a kindergartner, and my siblings, I'm the baby in the family, so my sisters are older than me. And I remember we were playing on the jungle gym, as I used to call it back in my day. And
Yes.
my dad was a little late picking us up from school that day. And so the three of us were out there playing, having a good time. And we look up and see this immaculately dressed woman coming towards us who looked just like us.
Okay.
And she had her silk necktie kerchief to the side, and it looked like what I can only describe as a Ann Taylor-esque type of dress, and just polished from head to toe. And we just stopped playing and looked at this vision and said, who is this woman? And lo and behold, it was the principal, Nina Tab. And so seeing myself coming towards me just really caused me to realize that, oh my gosh, I could actually be this woman one day.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a
so
memory. It's so vivid in your mind. It clearly,
like it happened yesterday.
yes,
Yeah.
it was etched into your mind.
Definitely.
And it stayed with you.
Indelible mark. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So that memory just propelled me forward, I think consciously and subconsciously. And then my mom went back to school when I was a child. So I was about 7 when she started at Stick. And then she graduated one of the first, I want to say, 4 African American or Black females to enroll in and successfully complete the nursing program.
Congratulations
at
to
Stick.
her. Okay.
Yeah, so that was amazing. for us
Surrounded
as
by
well.
role models.
Yeah, absolutely.
Surrounded by role models.
Absolutely, yeah.
So now in your career, you've been in education for more than 30 years. You've held high-profile positions here in our district and also in Hartford Public Schools. Tell us a little bit about how those experiences have shaped your education philosophy and also your role as a leader, your style.
So I have been very fortunate to hold amazing roles that gave me opportunities to educate our best and brightest. I mean, all of our students deserve the best, and I have been fortunate to be able to contribute to some of their learning. And one thing that is key for me, that has really shaped my philosophy and my leadership style, is being blessed to have leaders who believed in me and who saw something in me that I didn't even recognize in myself. So I can start with Carol Fazio at Forest Park Middle School. She gave me opportunity after opportunity to take on leadership roles when I was a classroom teacher, and then she gave me the opportunity to become a school counselor. And I had no vision for myself concerning a career. I thought I was going to remain a teacher until I retired. But Carol Fazio definitely pulled something out of me that I didn't even know was there. And then I was fortunate to work with Yolanda Johnson and be part of her team here at Central Office several years ago. And again, she trusted me. She instilled in me hard work, a very hard work ethic. And then I moved on to Hartford, where I was really blessed and fortunate to have Christina Kishimoto as my assistant superintendent and then my superintendent, who trusted me with high level initiatives and gave me the freedom and the latitude to create and innovate. And she just provided so much support, and she gave me that encouragement, and she just instilled that trust in me where she knew that I would do great things because she was clear in her vision, and I was able to embrace her vision and run with it. So I was able to build teams under her leadership and just learn how to just be a female leader, be a leader who happens to be a female, who happens to be a female of color, and not allow society's isms to hinder me from moving forward in the direction that I knew was best for students and families.
Well, some of the work that you have done has been recognized nationally. You were selected, you were invited to go to Washington, D.C., I believe, by the Obama administration because of your work in college and career readiness. Tell us more about that.
Well, that was so exciting. I mean, I just can't even articulate the joy and just how humble I felt and, being recognized to go. And I can't take full credit at all. It takes amazing teams
Right, it always does.
accomplish amazing goals. And we were fortunate to have a team of folk who had the passion and they truly believed in the students and the families. And so going to that White House convening was pivotal for me because it allowed me to interact with other people across the nation who were doing the same work, and also just validated that we were on the right path, that the nation was pleased with what we were doing in the city of Hartford, and that the nation believed in us and supported us. And so they put their money where their mouth was, right? And they supported the vision, and they supported all of the hard work that we were putting into it. And there was a focus also on school counseling. And so recognizing the indispensable worth and value of having a high qualified school counselor on your team in every building, and making sure that those school counselors are able to do what they're trained to do and not just do the things that perhaps building-based administrators feel need to be done, but recognizing what school counselors can contribute to college and career readiness.
Awesome. Well, so now let's talk about the road ahead. As superintendent, what are some of your key priorities right out of the gate?
To listen and learn. So one priority that I have is to really listen with an open mind and an open heart to what the community is saying, what the learning community is saying, what our administrators, educators, families, community partners, school committee members, board members, everyone who contributes to the education and well-being of our students. I sincerely want to listen to what they have to say and learn from them. And then I also want to revive the narrative of post-secondary opportunities. I truly believe in college and career readiness. I lived it because when my parents first came here, neither of them had any advanced education, and we lived, quite frankly, from paycheck to paycheck. But then as a 7-year-old, I watched my mom go back to school, earn her degree, and we went from living from paycheck to paycheck to being able to afford the things that a career can afford you. Vacations, trips, shopping, just living a life in, I won't say super comfortable, but comfortable.
Thriving
We were
rather
thriving.
than surviving.
Thank you. That's beautifully said. We really went from surviving to thriving with that one degree that my mom earned. So it totally changed our lives. And I truly believe that power still exists today. I know there are opportunities beyond, a formal education, but post-secondary advancement and post-secondary education really is still something that I want to revive. I want to ensure that our families are having those conversations at the dinner table, they're having them in the supermarket, they're having them at the beach, they're having them wherever they go with their children. And I want our community to get behind that message as well. College and career readiness is something that we really need to strive for. So listening, learning, and then reviving that message.
So a huge initiative for the past several years, as you know, in Springfield Public Schools has been our Portrait of a Graduate. It represents the community's vision of what students should know and be able to do when they graduate. It includes the voices, thoughts, and ideas of the entire community from within Springfield Public Schools and without. And so I guess my question to you is, as far as Portrait of a Graduate goes, what are your visions for that initiative?
Well, first, I have to applaud the work that was done with Portrait of a Graduate. I mean, the amount of voices that were captured, the number of views and opinions that were captured to create this portrait is impressive. And I applaud the folks who had the vision. And I really like the end result. I love the product. I love what was created as a result of galvanizing all those resources and gleaning from all those voices. I know it's a large document and I know it's still somewhat in its infancy. So even though I believe the baseline data is from 2022, it's still pretty young and new. And I really want to honor the work and maintain the work and continue to push towards making the Portrait of a Graduate a reality for our students. So I want to partner with everyone who wants to partner with us to ensure that we move from paper to practice. And I want to distill the Portrait of a Graduate down to the essence of the portrait. I want to make sure that we don't get lost with the size of it, but that we take a look at it and we put it in the appropriate buckets. So perhaps looking at it holistically, but then making sure that we divide it up into the appropriate sections so that we can have a greater opportunity of success when we go to implement it with fidelity. So I was at STEM Middle for my visits, and I was walking around the school with the principal there, and he showed me the agenda on the board of one of the classrooms. And one of the things I saw was a portrait of a graduate learning target. So those are the innovative ideas that I love that our administrators are coming up with to make the portrait of the graduate a reality. So we need to continue to do some of that work and make sure that we see it throughout the district to ensure that the hard work and the innovation and the ideas of the community are not lost because the document is so large. We want to make sure that it's bite-sized, doable, and that we report out to that community. The same folks who contributed to it need to get an update on it. So we want to make sure that on a quarterly basis or on a regular basis, we report out on it.
That has been something that you've talked about a lot coming in, and that is transparency on what's happening and making that information available to our community. What are some of your ideas on ways of doing that?
Well, I know after my transition plan is completed, after the first 100 days on the job, my vision is to have a State of the Schools address where we would all gather together, community members, learning community, families, everyone who is involved in Springfield Public Schools would come together and get the information that they need concerning where we currently are according to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education criteria for school districts. We would come together, celebrate our successes, but also get an opportunity to see ourselves in the work. So getting an opportunity to make sure that the data that we currently have becomes the data that we want it to be by June of 2025. So co-creating goals for the district, co-creating learning outcomes, communicating to the community, ensuring that the community can see themselves in the work, and ensuring that we're being held accountable by the community for our progress towards those goals.
Excellent, excellent. And the community can stay tuned to all of the resources that Springfield Public Schools has to learn more about these opportunities,
Absolutely.
when and where and how. You'll be able to be a part of those conversations, gather that information.
Yes.
As all that becomes worked out, we'll be working together to make sure it gets out there.
Thank you. Absolutely.
So I guess my almost last question is, what, as somebody who was born and raised in Springfield, gone through Springfield Public Schools, been a substitute teacher, now raised up to the position of superintendent, the highest position, the leader of our school district in the city, what advice do you have specifically for our educators? I'd like you to speak directly to them now, who really have a purpose and a passion for education. What is your advice to them?
Well, I think you just summarized it. Making sure that you are operating in your purpose and passion. So if you are a teacher, a counselor, a para, an educator in any regard or any sense of the word, an administrator, make sure you're operating in your purpose and your passion. Find your passion. I can't teach you to like children. I can't teach you to love children. But if you already come with that purpose and passion, then we can work together to make you the best teacher that you could ever be, the best educator, the best counselor, the best principal that you could ever be. But just strive to first operate in your purpose and passion. And then secondly, believe that you can make a difference. You have to believe in your own ability to really make a difference in the life of the children and the students and the scholars that you're interacting with on a daily basis.
Right.
Telling yourself every morning that my absence will have a negative effect and impact on my students because I am the best person to stand in front of them every single day.
Oh, love that. Yes.
Definitely have
Yes.
to believe in yourself.
Yes.
And then be willing to learn, be willing to take risks, be willing to innovate, be willing to fail, be willing to learn from those failures, be coachable, be teachable, be humble, and then you will see that doors will open for you. The path will be clear before you, and you will have an impact on the lives of our children.
And we can see from, from your leadership style, from what you bring to the table already, that you're not just talking the talk, you are walking that walk. So you embody those things. So I just want to say that to you.
Thank you so much. It's a journey, right? It's a journey. When I started out many years ago developing my leadership style, my leadership skills, I was never thinking of being a servant leader or the type of leader that I am today. But because of the leaders that I've been blessed to work with and because of self-reflection, I'm able to see my areas of growth and really do the self-work in order to be a better leader with every day that goes by.
Awesome. So we are going to end with a lightning round.
Oh, wow.
I'm just going to fire these questions off at you.
Okay.
It's going to give us a chance to get to know you even a little bit better.
Okay.
All right. In the morning, coffee, tea, or orange juice?
Tea.
You're a tea
British,
lady. Okay.
you know.
All right. Is it herbal tea, black tea?
Anything that's non-caffeinated.
Okay.
And
So
usually with no cream or sugar.
all right. Lemon and honey?
No.
No,
plain.
just okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think I know the answer to this one, summer or winter?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Really?
I think it's winter.
Really? That
I
shocks
love
me.
the snow. I
Really?
do. I
Okay.
love the snow.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's
Well,
so beautiful.
okay. It's a tough one. What's your
Okay.
favorite food?
I would say ackee and saltfish.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
ackee and
right.
saltfish,
Okay.
definitely.
All right. I have tried my hand at that, being married to someone who is half Jamaican. And I got rave reviews, but he might have been being nice.
As he should.
Yes, right. If he wanted to get it again.
Okay.
Cell phone device, Apple or Android?
Oh, Droid all the way.
Droid.
Oh, Droid
Oh
all
no,
the way.
I don't know. I
Absolutely.
don't know.
To be honest, I have both. So my
Okay.
work phone is an Apple.
Okay.
But my personal phone, the bat phone, that's a Droid. That's a Droid.
All right. So you love to learn. You're a lifelong learner. Hardcover or ebook?
Oh, there's nothing like the sound of the spine cracking open
We
on a
agree
book.
on
Oh,
that. Yes.
hardcover for
Okay.
sure.
All right. Do you have a collection of books at your house?
You know, when my nephew lived with me and I helped raise him. So when my nephew was younger, we would always go to the library and we would always buy books. So we would have two of every book. I would read it. He would read it at the same time so we can, discuss it and things of that nature. So yes, I have a collection of books. As a matter of fact, I still have some of my books from undergrad.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Okay.
Might want to
All
get rid
right.
of those around
It's
now.
hard to get rid of books.
It is.
Yes.
It's like almost a sin and a shame to throw a book away.
Yeah,
So,
it is. It is. It is. Okay. Are you a night owl or early riser?
I'm an early riser.
Me too.
I am an early
Okay.
riser.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too. All right. Narrow it down. You got to choose one. I'll give you two.
Okay.
All right. Favorite singer or band?
Well, the first singer that comes to mind is, of course, the one and only Michael Jackson.
Okay.
But then close on his heels would have to be Whitney Houston.
Okay.
And then I would have to follow it up with a third with CeCe Winans. So.
All right. All right. Solid choice. Solid pick. Solid picks. All right. Dr. Dinnall, thank you so much for taking time to meet our community, allow them to meet you. I know that there's going to be many more opportunities.
Yes.
I just want to personally welcome you to Springfield Public Schools and just wish you all the best on the great work that you're going to do.
Thank you so much. It has definitely been a humbling honor to be back at Springfield Public Schools, back at Central Office, and you, as well as so many others, have really made sure that my first few days have been amazing.
Great.
So thank you. I look forward to more.
All right. All right. Well, you can stay tuned here to SPS Spotlight as that more unfolds. Thank you for joining us. I'm Azell Cavaan. Until next time.